Hello, this is Jamie Magrich. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. It's kind of fun. Just kind of spins around. So let's get started. You need a 3/4 inch circle, a 1.5 inch circle. I'm using my punches, but you can use anything you want. Memento black ink. To color the donkey, I just use smoky slate combo, light and dark. That's all I used. Okay. So I am using for the paper, I have a little tiny scrap of Delight. I think it's Delight. I don't remember. No, that's crushed curry. Tiny little scrap of crushed curry, and I've already done it just for the sake of time. Cut out a little tiny bow out of it. I can't tell you where this bow came from. I thought it was from Critter one, but it's not. And I've already punched out my 3/4 inch circle, and that's out of thick cards, thick white. Put them here so you can see them still. Okay, I have a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of the Flower and Field Designer Series paper. I have 2 pieces of thick, which are 4 1/4 by 5.5. One will go underneath this to thicken that, make that sturdier, and one we're going to stamp on and punch and die cut out. Then I have my card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. We're using Darling Donkeys. I'm going to be using this one here. Hee Haw, It's Your Birthday. I'm using layering circles, and I'm using the largest one using the largest one, and then the 4th one down from the largest. Okay. So let's get started here. Put these out where I can get to them. Alright. First thing we're going to do is adhere our Designer Series paper to the front of that card base, and you want to get glue on all of it because you're going to be cutting out and using all of the little pieces. So I can get my glue to work. There we go. So you want to make sure you get glue coverage on all the little pieces. You don't want too much glue, you just want to get enough. Okay, then we're going to center this up on here. Make sure it's adhered really well. Okay, we're going to set that aside for a minute. And we're going to bring in one of this other piece, a Memento black ink. We're going to bring in our donkey. Ink him up really well. We're going to stamp him. Okay, then we're going to bring in our sentiments. You could probably use a quarter, half of this, which would be 1/8 of a piece of cardstock here in the US. Then I'm going to stamp the Hee Haw. Stay away from the edge a little bit because you're going to be punching it out. And the It's Your Birthday. Stamp that right underneath the Hee Haw. Okay. We're done with the stamping, so I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. Alright. Now we're going to take our 1.5 inch circle punch, We're going to punch out this. Center it right up in the center there. Okay, we'll put that over here with these other pieces. Done with those. I've already cut out this one, but you would cut that out of here as well. Alright, now let's color this donkey in. So I used the dark smoky slate, and I used the little end for the, and I colored his hooves. And I colored his nose. Colored his hair. His tail. Then I just went around here like this, under his belly, like that. That's a little bit under his neck here. Okay, and then this back underside of this ear. Okay, then I came in with the light one and the brush tip. You could use the other tip, but I just colored the rest of them in. Didn't do any fancy coloring, just that's it. Little circular motion here next to where you already put the dark color. Sorry, I don't want to go out of the line, so I'm being quiet. I tend to do that. Hopefully my head's not in the picture. There you go. And then there's no die for this, so we do have to fussy cut them out. You want to make a pretty large bubble around them. So we're just going to I found if these edges were curved instead of sharp points, it just looked a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to cut this part off, just makes it easier. Almost done here. There you go. So can you see all the bubble around him? I didn't cut close, I cut a nice big bubble around him. Okay. Let's put this aside. We're done with all of this. Find if I clean as I go. It's a lot less mess at the end. Okay, now we're going to bring in this piece and our two circle dies. I'm going to center those in the center of this so that they're equally spaced apart. And then we're going to run it through our die cutting machine. Now you could tape them down if you wish so that you know they have an equal spacing. There's just little bits of washi tape still on them from another time I used them, so oops, it doesn't have much stick left to it, but Okay, so I'm going to go run those through my die cutting machine, and I will be right back. Equally spaced. Okay, I'm back. We're going to need all of the pieces, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip it over before they all come out. And I'm going to bring in a Post-it note, or Scotch, well, you want it to be removable. And I'm going to tape it across the back so that I don't lose the orientation of the flowers. Take the dies off. Okay, put those away. Alright, now we're going to flip it over, and on this piece and the center we're going to be putting dimensionals. We don't want to put them too close to the edge because our little circle has got to be able to slide in there. So you want to make sure that you're keeping them away from that edge, and you're going to use a lot of them. You might be more comfortable stacking two on top of each other, but that's a lot of dimensionals. You don't want it to sag because then it doesn't slide too well. So you want to go all the way around. If you want to take your little circle and make sure it's, well, I probably could go a little closer even. Is it going to let me? Okay, so once you figure out where you get your placing, you're going to go ahead and put these dimensionals all the way around. You could use foam tape if you have that. It might be kind of close. Let's see. Yeah, that one needs to move. It's too close. So if it hits those, it's not going to slide. It's going to just bog on them. Okay, then get your corners and edges. Okay. Now I'm going to transfer this to the front, if I can do that without it, just to hold those down. Okay, now this piece is going to get wet glue on it. I don't want that one to stick yet. Backing came off it, so I'm going to put that back on. You don't want to take the backs off yet. You're just going to put the wet glue on this circle here. You want a nice thin layer, but you want it to be close to the edges so it stays down well. Okay, now we're going to bring in our card base. This is the important part, or a important part. Make sure your flowers are going the right side up. It's the first time I did it, I didn't. Okay, and you're going to line this up with the front of the card. You haven't taken the backs off of the and you're going to push down this centerpiece so that it stays on the card. Lift this up if you need to. Push that down. Okay. So right now that's what we have. Okay. Now we're going to come in with that little circle we have. We're going to use a small dimensional on this one. The little round pops are probably work just as well, or probably better. I'm going to stick one right in the center. Okay, then we're going to place this in that space. In this space here. We're going to take all these little backs off now. Now if you forget to put this in, you can still get it in. And I'll show you that too. Because it's kind of hard to hold it, keep it in there, and this one might be kind of close. I'll go with it anyway. Get all those backs. Oh, one right there. One right there. Okay, so now I'm going to hold that in place there. We're going to line up this again with the edges. It's the trickiest part. Try to get it lined up. The edges of our card. Take this off. Oops, that didn't stay where I wanted it, but that's alright. There we go. Okay, so now that'll slide in there nicely. Take the back off of it. Bring in our donkey. Now you could put another circle on top, but I don't find that's necessary. Put our donkey on. Now he slides around. And this one actually works better than my sample one. Okay, then we're going to glue this into the center. There we go, there's our card. And it just kind of dances around in the spins and rolls and jumps. It's just kind of fun. Oh, we forgot to put his bow on, okay. So I just want a little tiny dab of glue on the back and add that bow around his neck. There you go. Well, thank you for joining me at Jamie's Craft Table today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper.